Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for another race here in the CiL GR86 Championship Series. This is round 5 coming at you from the virtual Laguna Seca WeatherTech Speedway. I'm one half of the voices in the booth tonight, Alex Gannon, alongside me, Josh Crane. And Josh, you are probably far more up to date than I am on these GR86 cars. I'm making a cameo appearance here on this side of the CIL universe tonight. But what do you think we can expect here from these cars doing battle at Laguna Seca?
Yeah, battle is the operative word, Alex. It's a pleasure to have you up here, and you won't miss out on anything tonight. It's going to be very exciting to see these drivers. The way that Laguna flows back and forth with a lot of left-right combinations, drivers who are setting themselves up for one corner will be naturally out of position for the next corner, depending on how much they commit. So that's going to give a lot of good racing and very close quarters combat for our drivers here tonight. Obviously, Laguna Seca, one of the free tracks here on iRacing, and this car free as well. So these drivers are going to be well versed in it. These drivers are going to have a lot of laps at Laguna Seca just by nature of being on iRacing for some amount of time. And so the product that we can expect tonight is that these drivers will have their elbows out. They'll be competing very closely. Cars will be in the grass, or perhaps we'll say in the dirt, surely. And it will be helped not at all by that 130-degree track temperature. And Alex, this is our second race in a row where we've had a very hot track. Okayama was about in this ballpark last last week. But these drivers are starting to get used to these very high temperatures, and it's going to be less grip on this surface.
Yeah, and one thing in particular about that race from Okayama last week was that the drivers put on quite the show. It was a very competitive race there on the super hot track surface. So I'm looking forward to potentially seeing some more of the same here tonight in pretty similar weather conditions. Granted, a very different track. I mean, the corkscrew is its own animal, as you can see. Actually, a couple of cars in qualifying here just going down that as we're talking about it. But yeah, no, this track poses some unique challenges through that double apex turn at the front, and then that corkscrew in the midway point of the course. Both very easy places to lose track of where you actually are, and it's just so easy to lose time in both of those sections. So it's going to be quite the battle for some of these drivers, I feel like, as we're on board here with Thomas Crump out of Clemson University. He's running some of his qualifying laps here. About 3-ish minutes to go, so enough time to get another lap or two in if you hurry.
Yeah, these drivers are going to be trying to get their best laps sorted out already. You can see at the top of your timing tower, a lot of pace again from Jared Kaler and the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. That driver took home not one, but 2 wins in as many races at Okayama last Wednesday. And he's going to see if he can continue the trend for that Niner Esports group. But to do it, Alex, he's going to have to work around Mesa Community College and Ian Brown. This car has been fast all race long and all season long. And no surprise here that he's up at the top of the tower in this event as well. But it's no fun if you keep it to yourselves, and a newcomer tonight is the University of Florida, this time in the form of Sebastian Morfin, Alex. And so we'll see already some pace we see there, and so we'll see again what the plan is from that crew and from that driver, but always exciting to see new talent that joins these events. So right there, Morfin is getting his times down. Looks like he's keeping those tires a little bit cool, and you would there as you come to the green flag because, yeah, it's not going to be about heating the tires up. That won't be the problem, Alex. They will want to cool the tires off and manage them as best they can throughout the night.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point about always good to see some new faces here, I'm always excited to see some new faces here, but I'm always especially excited to see new faces with some pace, and that seems to be the case here with Sebastian Morfin as he's currently sitting in third through the qualifying period here, only 2/10 off from the lead pace there. So I'm very intrigued to see how he'll fit into the greater hierarchy of the front pack or and he goes off into the dirt there, and bit of commentator's curse. I'm sorry there, Sebastian. I was super excited to see what's going on. That may not have been the right time to talk about that, but life moves on, I suppose.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to get to his pit box there. Maybe that was the fastest way, but here's another driver, not yet to set a time, it appears, but that is the Virginia Cavalier Thomas Toomey. He's going to be trying his best to make the most of tonight. So we'll see if that driver can get it sorted out. And it looks like, excuse me, yeah, University of Virginia just not scored yet, so he'll be coming around. Don't know if this is a fast lap for him, flying lap, or if this is an out lap, but I'll tell you what, I hope it is a scored lap, Alex, because he's got about 30 seconds, so he's not going to make it around again. He's going to have to come across the line right here, so we'll see how the Cavaliers fare. And then right behind them, we also saw Texas A&M International University. Looks like Virginia. I do not see them scored currently, so must have had an off track in that one, and he will get the opportunity to start 11th, the only car right now that has not scored a lap. And with that, Alex, I think it is time to get ready for the grid.
I think you're right. So, with qualifying done and the cars getting ready to take the track here for what'll be quite the sprint through Laguna Seca. On pole tonight, it is Jared Kaler out of UNC Charlotte. He's got a lot of pace on the oval side, and that carries over here to the GR86 side here tonight, as he will line up on the front row alongside Ian Brown for Mesa Community College. Rolling off in row 2, it's Sebastian Morfin, the newcomer from the University of Florida, alongside Major Monkevis, who is representing Texas A&M International. Jack Ritchie rolls off 5th for Mississippi College, alongside Clint Halterman from UNC Charlotte in 6th. 7th is Thomas Crump out of Clemson, and his teammate Hunter Hedesti will roll off for Clemson as well in the 8th position. In row 5, you got Jason Willott from Drexel University rolling off 9th. Clemson's Michael Tognati rolling off 10th. And rounding out the field tonight in 11th, the University of Virginia driver Thomas Toomey. And that is tonight's grid from Laguna Seca.
That is the grid, and immediately, Alex, I noticed that Drexel University normally shows up with 2 or 3 cars, but tonight just 1, and they will have to get all their work done through driver Jason Wallet, and that team, is leading the school standings there for the students, and so a lot is going to be riding on Jason's performance tonight, but we've seen both in the oval side and the road side, I anticipate that he'll be able to manage the load quite nicely. So that'll be a car to watch if he can march forward coming up. And then the storylines as well will develop themselves. Again, Alex, it's going to be plenty of action tonight with these drivers trying to determine who gets to be the first across the line in not 1, but 2 heat races. And it's going to be pretty tightly fought throughout.
Absolutely, and I hope it is tightly fought. You know, that always makes for entertainment both on track and up here in the booth when everyone's really scrapping that out down there on track. But as you see them coming down through the corkscrew back toward the front stretch here, safety car will be peeling off in just a moment, and we'll be going green here for this 10-lap shootout from Laguna Seca. Not super long races here, but these the Toyota GR86 has put on a pretty decent show, especially on these short stints. So I'm super excited to see how this is all going to shake out tonight. I don't really know what to expect, to be honest with you. I mean, Laguna Seca is already a very tricky track to deal with. I don't really know how well some of these cars are going to fare, especially on this opening lap when everyone's still pretty bottled up. That corkscrew is a real make or break moment, and that could have had a lot of action and a lot of heartbreak for some of these drivers on that opening lap.
Yeah, it definitely could. It most certainly will for some of these drivers, but that remains to be seen who it is. But back up at the front, these drivers going to get lined up. We're going to see that Porsche pace car jump down on pit road coming up pretty soon. Bringing us to green is going to be Mesa Community College on the outside of UNC Charlotte. It's the Charlotte campus for the University of North Carolina. There goes the pace car, that second row looking hungry. The University of Florida, followed by Texas A&M International, And here they go already out to a great start. Not sure if it was a jump, but I think UNC Charlotte squarely in a race of their own, Alex, and everybody else 2x2 down into the first corner.
Yeah, Jared Kaler with a really good jump here. You see Morphin to the inside here of Ian Brown as they start to slow down for this double apex hairpin to open the course. Morphin with a really good run through the braking zone there. Ian Brown will fall back into the clutches of Texas A&M International, and Morphin and University of Florida now very much in second on the back bumper of Jared Kaler. Pretty good opening start to the lap here for University of Florida as they start to make their way back up the hill. I wonder if they'll have anything for them as they go toward the corkscrew. As you see Jack Ritchie now looking to the inside here as they make their way to this tough left-hander.
Yeah, there they go. That's going to be key for those drivers, making sure that Clint Halterman and UNC Charlotte, he's going to jump to the inside right there. Jack Ritchie's going to have to defend on the inside. Is he going to leave room? Yeah, single file all before. Oh, but a little bit of trouble. That's Florida off in the dirt. We said it was going to happen. No surprise there. And yeah, a flash of the headlights. Interpreted many ways, Alex, but I think in that context, probably not thrilled with the outcome right there. Look for some excitement from that pair, Mesa Community College and Florida, a little bit later on in the race.
Yeah, usually when someone's flashing their headlights at you, it's not because they're saying kudos. Jared Kaler still holding on to the lead here as they make their way toward the final corner of this opening lap. UNC Charlotte still in control. Mesa Community College has rallied back up to second with Florida currently in the podium spot here. Then you got Jack Ritchie and Mississippi College hanging back, or is it? Yeah, it's Mississippi College hanging back in fourth there. So everyone kind of spread out a little bit here down the front stretch, and we'll have to see how this accordions back toward these turns.
Yeah, back it goes, but the excitement is not any less down in the field. Major Monsiváis, he's trying to get the job done here on Clemson University in that orange wheeled car. He has that's Hunter Hedesti right there in the 76. He's trying to get a little bit of defense going as he can move that car. Look, using all the track right there, jump over that curb on the inside. You can do that in these Toyotas, and it's a little bit faster to do so. You want to be on the gas the whole way through that kink, and so that's going to be something that these drivers had to figure out. I think I stand corrected. I think the car playing defense right now, Alex, is Thomas Crump, still a Clemson Tiger.
Speaking of playing defense, Jared Kaler, the leader, under fire from Ian Brown and Mesa Community College up at the front of the field. They are all over the back bumper here as they make their way toward the corkscrew. Not even a car length. You're going to thinking about diving in, but it will have to settle in just behind the back bumper of that UNC Charlotte car. Now looking to the inside, coming out of the corkscrew, side by side into the corner. Very tight quarters. They're able to sort it out, though, and Kaler will retain the position for a moment, but a switchback opportunity maybe for Ian Brown as they make their way toward the final corner. Here comes Morphin to the inside as well, and Jack Ritchie, everyone there at the final corner.
Wow, a little bit of contact right there. Yeah, Florida continuing to flash the lights. I think everybody would have a reason to be disgruntled in this pack. You saw them fanned out heading into the final turn, side by side into turn one, and very good drafting party behind the top five. In a gaggle right there, they touch under braking. A big hit under braking. I don't know if that was planned from everybody involved. And around
right
goes Jack Ritchie. He's going to have to get that Choctaw machine turned around right there, and the pain of waiting for everybody to go by as you give that car a safe rejoin indeed. But back up at the front, North Carolina and Charlotte is continuing the defense, but player 3 has entered. It's now a Mesa Community College sandwich, Alex, because look at P3 running. Looks like the show scheme is off that car, and the Niner Esports crew fills positions 1 and 3 in your screen.
Yeah, a good run so far in the early going for UNC Charlotte. I'm sure sitting back there in fourth, Sebastian Morphin not too thrilled with how the opening lap or two has gone. I mean, he's had some battles all over the place and has not had the good end of the stick on any of them here. Is now looking toward the corkscrew again. Mesa Community College thought about going to the inside, but closed off nicely by Jared Kaler as they make their way back down the hill. Kaler, a multi-time champion in the oval side of things, much like Phil Kessel just became a 3-time Stanley Cup champion last night. He's looking to add to his CiL legacy here with another victory at Laguna Seca. But Ian Brown and Clint Halterman not letting him get away.
No, they're not, and a little bit behind. I think Texas A&M is off right there, so they'll get to rejoin. Now Virginia is to their left. That's the inside and preferred line getting into this corner. The battle continues up front, and Jared Kaler putting a lot of trust in Mesa Community College to make all his braking points and skillfully doing so. And it's an off! Forced into a mistake is Mesa Community College, and Ian Brown, he's got to get that car pointed the right direction, and that will not be good. Mesa Community College hoping to come out of this event with a large haul of points, but looks like for Jared Kaler, he will come out on top. So suddenly, P1 and P2, those spots are held squarely by North Carolina at Charlotte. And look who is in third place. We're going to see what the University of Florida can say about this. Only 3 laps down, working lap number 4 right now. So a lot of action, and these drivers have some time to gather their thoughts and gather their heads. Another off there for Texas A&M International on your screen right there. But nonetheless, up at the front, these drivers will regroup, and surely there will be some more attacks to come.
Yeah, Monsivas there on the back bumper of Thomas Toomey, who was continuing his charge to the front. He rolled off 11th. He's up into the 6th position now, thanks to a couple on-track passes and gaining a couple spots via attrition of other cars going around. But the only car currently off track is Jack Ritchie of Mississippi College after that spin in turn 1 a couple laps ago. But as we're keeping an eye on this battle here, well behind them, you see Ian Brown trying to get back up into the mix here. He's on the back bumper of Michael Tognati out of Clemson. And these two cars battling for the 9th position here. Just a lap ago, Brown was battling for the lead, but he's got a lot of work to do to get back up there now.
Yeah, plenty of work. He's got it all in front of him, and he would just hope to get up into a good spot. Already, we know the top 10 will be inverted, so it looks like Mississippi College will be the car out there. But Michael Tognati will find himself, if this pass is completed, Tognati will find himself in 10th for the Clemson machine. So, going to be a little bit tricky there. Yeah, going to let that go through. And probably a wise decision. It's going to be a very motivated Ian Brown and Mesa Community College group. Oh, and a little bit of a coming back right there. Don't know if that was some defense or what was at play, but yeah, getting on down the road now, Mesa Community College.
Yeah, Ian Brown completes the pass on Tognati there, working his way down the straightaway. And now we'll go into this left-hander here in control of 9th place, but 2.5 seconds back of Jason Willott running 8th. So still some work to do there as you see them coming up the hill here. That gap just continues to expand. Right now, the person in the closest striking distance, though, looks to be Hunter Hidesti, who's getting fairly close to the back of that Thomas Crump machine. Those are 2 Clemson cars battling for 4th and 5th as they run. You see Tognati there making his way down the corkscrew as the 3rd and final Clemson entry tonight. They are well represented in this GR86 series tonight.
Yeah, they are, Alex. A little bit of breathing room as everybody here is able to breathe a little bit, getting spread out maybe as they want to. But looking back to the Jack Ritchie weekend review, just what happened at that point. Remember, this is the gaggle going into turn 1. This was a number of laps ago. These drivers trying to get sorted out. A very good view. You can see moving to the inside, contact between the 2 leaders, and up on the brakes. I don't think you got, a little bit of contact right there. So the rotation, Alex, was already in the car at the point of contact, and that was what did it. So
yeah, and that's if you're Jared Kaler, you're thanking your lucky stars there that you didn't also get turned around in the process. That was a heavy bit of contact for both cars, but only Jack Ritchie comes out the loser in that situation as Kaler kept that car forward, but Ritchie ends up staring the wrong way in the oncoming traffic. And Sebastian Morfin also with a heavy bit of contact there going through that corner.
Yeah, that was, and really nowhere to go for a number of those drivers, but you can see Morfin right here, and this was the view. All 100% yellow out the front of that machine. Getting in right here, really nowhere to go. Looking to the inside, and that's what you should be doing in that situation. And right out here, yeah, nowhere to go. That's not going to be good for the aerodynamic crew. Luckily, these Toyotas can wear a little bit more damage than most, but yeah, that's not what you want in that scenario. But looking up at the front, there's a bit of an action on for first, Alex.
Yeah, Halterman really closing up to the back bumper there for a moment of Jared Kaler. Didn't have a great corner right when we cut to him and fell back to about 7 tenths behind, but he made that gap as short as 2 tenths. So he was certainly in the mix, and a really good battle going on here for fourth. The two Clemson cars that's Thomas Crump trying to defend Thomas Toomey. Toomey now looking to the right side of Crump as they make their way up into the first corner. Going to see if he can make the pass the long way around here, entering the Andretti hairpin. A little bit of braking from both cars. Toomey able to outbrake him just a little bit. Oh, and it really got tight going into the second part of that hairpin. Definitely going to be some frustration on the side of Thomas Crump, I'm sure, but Toomey closed off that gap in a hurry going into the second part of the hairpin.
Yeah, he did, but I think that's to be expected right there because of the way those two, Thomas Toomey, a very fair driver, but he's going to compete when he can, and that was the gray area that racers will know so well, leaving about a half a car width to the apex, just enough to consider sticking your nose in, but it's ill-advised, and yeah, that pass was completed by the time they got into turn 1 for the University of Virginia, but back here on the East Coast, if you will, the University of Florida is trying to dispose of the first North Carolina at Charlotte entry. That is Clint Halterman there in the 07. Yeah, I do see a fair bit of a wrinkle on the front of that Florida Gator entry. But again, if you can have somebody else punch a hole through the air, maybe it's not so bad, Alex.
Yeah, clearly that seems to be the case because even with that front end damage, he has just reeled in Clint Halterman and has been hounding over him on the back half of this lap. He had to back out a little bit going into the corkscrew. That's not really an area you can go too wide, but other than that, he has been all over the back of the 07 here as we hit lap 8 of this 10-lap sprint. I would say that Morfin's really still in the mix here to not only get the podium, but also potentially the battle for the win. I mean, if he can find a way to get around Halterman, he almost had a chance there. Halterman a little wide through the hairpin. Morfin thought about going to the inside and once again uses the headlights to voice what he's thinking of what's going on around him. A great battle going on there for second, and also a great battle here for sixth. This is Hunter Hidesti trying to hold off a charging Major Monkevice. As they round the corner here, you see that Texas A&M International car all over the back of the Clemson machine, and when they make their way up the hill, I'm sure he's going to have a run.
Yeah, they will, and the run will be very useful if he can do well in that kink. Oh, and a bit of a wide there. That's not how you carry your momentum up the hill, but suddenly it's bumper-to-bumper advantage. Texas A&M International pass complete before we even get to the corkscrew, but not without some excitement. Can he get that car back on track? I think he can, and I think that pass is completed for Texas A&M International. Major Monsivas get to that 6th place position. He'll set his sights on the top 5, but it has not cooled off at the front. This is still the battle for 2nd place, and I suspect, or I wonder, right now, Alex, if the Niner Esports are running a little strategy right there, saying, hey, we've got the lead in hand. We've got the race win in hand. Let's just, and a big slip right there from both drivers. They're going to be side by side, and who got the most momentum out of that? It looks like the Florida Gators will come out on top of that.
I mean, both of them caught the dirt, but Halterman got a whole extra handful of it coming off the final corner. I was just about to say, I don't know how much team orders would have been in play there, knowing how competitive Clint Halterman is in these kind of races. But now, all of a sudden, he's back on the attack as he finds himself behind the Florida Gators machine of Sebastian Morfin. And now, if you're Morfin, you have an opportunity to try and reel yourself back up to Kaler. An opportunity you had for the first couple laps, and then through other cars, spinning around or getting involved in other stuff, fell back a few positions here, and even with the damage, he is still closing in on the leader. And with only 2 laps to go, he's in striking distance.
He is in striking distance. The green flag has flown for these drivers, and that's going to be a headache in race 2, Alex, because this pace has been accomplished. This race pace has been accomplished for Florida with about a 1.5-second pause on track. So if he had not been behind Mississippi College during that little fiasco earlier on, the UNC Charlotte leader would already have his hands full, and he's about to here as we come to the white flag. 2 corners to go. It's a very fast right, and then the slow left. And we'll see what the University of Florida can manage here. Yeah, I suspect that Clint Halterman was having a little bit of chore holding up Sebastian Morfin right there, but right now that is not the case, and you can see that Gator is on the prowl.
Yeah, Morfin is on the hunt here. He might have the opportunity to close in here through the hairpin if he gets a really good run through the corner. Kaler's been pretty good at the hairpin all day, but we'll see if Morfin can close the gap at all. It's been hanging around 7/10 ever since he's got past Halterman, so Kaler's done a good job to manage the gap here at the moment. I wonder how much of it is Morfin waiting for the opportunity. I wonder if there's damage that might be holding him up. Any sort of reasons to why this gap might not be changing at all from what it's been since the previous lap. Is Halterman going through the dirt a little bit there, coming off the corner. He'll fall well back of the 2 lead cars, and he's got to be careful not to fall into the clutches of Thomas Toomey, who's been on quite the charge from 11th up to 4th. But as they go up the hill here, the gap is still 7/10 from the leaders.
Yeah, the story is in the lap times. The Virginia Cavaliers do have that purple best lap of all the drivers this race. And yeah, once Florida Gators got around the UNC Charlotte car there of Halterman, they did achieve a lap time that was half a second faster than Jared Kaler. But as you can see, I don't think the fortune is going to be the same on this lap, because we are coming down to the checkered flag and North Carolina at Charlotte. Still some lap to go, Alex, but I don't think that Florida has as much of a chance. Big hop right there.
Yeah, there was a really big hop there. We also saw farther back up the hill, it looks like Toomey was in the dirt for a moment. But rounding the final corner, Jared Kaler's going to keep that machine forward, and the UNC Charlotte driver will bring it home to win the opening heat here at Laguna Seca. Sebastian Morfin brings it home second for Florida. Halterman third. We've got quite the battle in the back part of the group. You see Ian Brown trying to get to the line just ahead of Hunter Hidesti, but Major Monkovas will beat both of those drivers in a suddenly very fierce battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, that's the way it goes, and we see a couple of these drivers going to finish up their runs here in this race. But man, that was a handful, both for the front 4 running in this race, trying to fight their own battles, as we did see Virginia and North Carolina and Charlotte on the duel for the final position on the podium. But then we also saw that big gaggle coming across. That was Mesa Community College trying to get the best of Texas A&M International, with a couple other drivers in that as well, Jack Ritchie and Mississippi College there. But man, that was quite the effort from those drivers. So right now we get the chance to breathe a little bit, Alex. It's going to be the warm-up here, 5 minutes for these drivers to reset and for us to reset a little bit as well. But what stood out? What was the biggest surprise there in that first heat?
I think one of the biggest surprises was how quickly cars could get bottled up. I mean, we saw that moment a couple laps in on the front stretch where you had the top 5 all within a stone's throw of each other as they tried to sort themselves out at turn 1 and ultimately weren't able to do so. So that was one. But the other thing I noticed was Kaler did a really good job maintaining the gap once he got the lead. And Sebastian Morfin, if he doesn't get caught up into the situation that he did in the first race here, he could be a legitimate contender for the win here in the second heat.
Yeah, that's 100% the case, especially with that little pause that we saw a little bit earlier on there from the Gator machine. But yeah, it's very exciting to see what that driver is going to do and what all the rest of these drivers can do if they get a chance to go ahead and compete.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of competitors, we have a moment here. Do we want to talk to our Heat 1 winner here, Jared Kaler?
Jared Kaler is in with us. And Jared, congrats on that first heat win. Very exciting for us to watch, maybe for you. But how was it there? It seemed like your teammate was helping keep you, give some space to second place.
Yeah, Laguna Seca is probably my least favorite track on iRacing, and I'm like the only person in the world that says that. So I absolutely despise this place, and to come away with a heat win and a pole is pretty cool. But Clint did a good job right there and giving me space. And I wouldn't really say there were team communications going on, but or like team commands or whatever they say in the Formula One world. But we were working together a little bit, and I told him, I was like, you can battle if you want to. But I think he made a mistake and allowed Sebastian to get around him there, and then Sebastian hung on to me pretty close there within a second, and I couldn't make a mistake those last few laps.
Yeah, congrats on the first heat win there. Gotta wonder how did the car change at all for you after that contact in the hairpin with Jack Ritchie, or was your car more or less fine the rest of the way?
Yeah, I mean it felt fine majority of the day. I think it started understeering a little bit through one and then through the final corner, but I think that was just probably because the tires were wearing down. But I think Ian was going for the Heat 2 invert strategy there, so it's going to be hard to catch up to him because he's going to be starting pretty up front there, but I look forward to getting after it.
Well, I think we look forward to seeing everything. And you're going to be back there with a couple hot shoes. You guys are all going to be racing your way up front. So congrats and good luck here in Heat 2.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Alex, so that was a pretty motivated Jared Kaler. Sounds like he's got his race all planned out coming up here.
Yeah, it does sound like it. And he also shares some of my thoughts that I have on Laguna Seca. It's never been a track I've been able to figure out whenever I've tried racing it. So, it's honestly encouraging a little bit to know that I'm not the only one who doesn't love the place sometimes.
Yeah, that stood out to me too. And I don't think he's alone. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it's not for myself. But I think that can be said of any track. And any racer knows when you nail the setup, you nailed it, and when you haven't, and when it's not your day, it's really not your day. And Laguna Seca, for being such a ubiquitous track, it is free again on iRacing. It is a little bit harsh. Turn 1 is tricky. Turn 3 to the right, you got to have the right speed through there, otherwise you'll be in trouble. And obviously, everybody's favorite corkscrew. Is very tricky. It's blind, so you have to line up and understand where your car is going to drop in when you hit that deep right-hander. But before you even get there, you have to avoid going wide in the dirt like we saw a couple cars do there at turn 6. So it's a full-time job getting around this track.
It really is, and it put on quite the battle here in the first round. I tell you what, I am curious. Starting a couple positions ahead of Kaler and Morphin is going to be Ian Brown, who showed really good pace up until he went wide in the Andretti hairpin a couple laps in on that first heat. I do wonder if he's really going to be able to take control of this race early and hold on to that lead, because he had good pace when he was out front. He just had that one mistake that cost him early on. But with a lot of his toughest competition several spots behind him, this could be a prime situation for Ian Brown.
Yeah, this could very much be a prime situation for Ian Brown and Mesa Community College. He made up those spots that we saw, but not what you want. But I'll tell you who it's going to be a big challenge in the back, because starting in P7 is Thomas Toomey, Clint Halterman, Sebastian Morphin, the Florida Gator that we've seen tonight, Jared Kaler, your race winner, and Jack Ritchie, who had that spin and that loop and towed it to pits there in the first heat. But he's going to be back now, and he's got every opportunity to move through this field. And we know that when traffic is occurring, then that is the land of opportunity for these drivers. And so it's going to be very exciting to see who gets to figure out where we're going to be up front. And oh, by the way, look who is on pole. It's the championship leader, Alex.
That it is. At least on the university side of things, with Drexel University leading the student division at the moment. Jason Wallet didn't have a great heat one, but he put himself in prime position here to potentially really bring it home in the feature here. So we'll see if he's able to hold on to that or not. He'll be on the front row there alongside Michael Tognati out of Clemson. I tell you what, if there's one row that I'd be afraid to be in right now, it's that third row of Hidesti and Wankovic, because I mean, it's just a murderer's row of really fast cars behind you. And, like, they had some decent pace finishing 5th and 6th last race, but those are 5 cars I would not want behind me at the start of a race.
Yeah, and we know that everybody's going to try and space out, get the jump. We saw at Okayama last week that we know Mesa Community College likes to step out to the side and get a view of the leader. Of course, that's going to be pretty easy since they are starting there behind the leader in this case. Maybe in 4th position if we are turning left at Laguna Seca tonight. But nonetheless, that's going to be key for a lot of those guys, and I think you're right, Alex. Everybody is going to be scampering forward when the green flag drops here and they get out of that final turn to get on with the feature race here tonight.
Yep, and Jason Wallet goes through the dirt there on the corkscrew. Not an ideal way to spend the pacing lap, but it doesn't cost him anything since we're not underway just yet. But if I'm Ian Brown and I see that, I think my first thought is, oh boy, I hope I get by him before we reach the corkscrew.
Yeah, well, you may not want any questionable cars behind you going into the corkscrew either, but it
also
is time.
Very true.
We are getting ready, and a bit spread out is the field, so we'll say a good jump there for Michael Tognati. Yeah, exactly, but back behind, it is all going on right there. Drexel University is going to try and defend, though. Looks like, a lot of space given there to Mesa Community College, and a little bit back underway. There's Texas A&M International. Whoa, and a little bit sideways. Nowhere to go if you are Clemson University, stuck in the middle there. Clint Halterman and Niner Esports around the outside. Right there, you see the University of Virginia is trying to put that car on the outside of the Niner Esports paint scheme, trying to cross over. Can he carry momentum down into the corner? But he's got a little bit of defense right now. A mirror full of North Carolina at Charlotte. Again, those two cars working well together. Thomas Toomey's going to have to make his way smartly down into the corner. I do see, Alex, that Ian Brown has moved up into 2nd, but it's all going on back here. A big defensive move. Jack Ritchie, his progress is impeded a little bit. And I'll tell you what, off track a lot tonight is Major Monsivais from Texas A&M International. Oh, almost right there. Thomas Toomey
I'm about to
had
say
to get squeezed
that almost
down.
got really dicey with Thomas Toomey. I don't know if it was someone cutting across too much or someone sticking their nose in or what, but that was almost catastrophic as Kaler finds his way by Thomas Toomey here getting into the corkscrew. Everyone battling there. I mean, there was just action all over the field in the opening half lap there. You see Toomey still all over the back of Jared Kaler, the Toyota GR86, not one to just immediately break away from your competition once you pass him. But up at the front, Mesa Community College and Ian Brown has reeled in Michael Tognati after that great start for the Clemson driver. Will he be able to take away the lap lead or not? Does not appear so. Tognati will hold on to lead the lap, but I don't think he's going to be able to hold on for much more than that. As Ian Brown really rips it into the Andretti hairpin here, and it looks like Mesa Community College now up to the point on lap 2.
Yeah, they've got that done, and I'll tell you that's exactly what Jared Kaler said when we just spoke with him. He said, now all these drivers in your shot, their mission is to get up to the front, and can they challenge if they can reach Mesa Community College up there at the front? So all these drivers are going to try and get figured out, but straight up first, it looks like Clint Halterman is kind of the lead runner of that group that really suffered from the invert. He's got to get around. He's got to get around Clemson University, but Clemson University is working on Hunter Hedesti, so that's 2 Clemson cars. You can see in your shot the orange wheels at play, almost contact, running down to the inside. That's some very unique defense, Alex. Not recommended, but it does bottle those cars up behind him, and maybe it's done its job.
It's done its job for the moment, but it's also probably done a job of frustrating the driver of the 07 there, as Toomey and Morfin get into it back behind the field a little bit there. They are too wide going into the corkscrew. Not sure if they're going to be able to sort that one out. Looks like they're able to, but definitely a moment that everyone has to clench up a little bit. That was looking real dicey for a moment, and the big loser of that exchange was Sebastian Morfin. But back up front, Halterman all over the back bumper of Thomas Crump, looking potentially to make the pass on the outside. Texas A&M roars down on the inside, really dives it in there, takes away the position, and is not going to have a great run down the front stretch, but will be ahead of the 07, so that's at least 1 position gained.
Yeah, great shot of everybody trying to chase everybody. I think it's the best way to describe it. Down into the corner, up under the scoring tower. You can see Drexel University. They are trying to make a move on the College of San Mateo because they see what is coming next. It is all behind Clemson University there in the matte black Toyota. Major Monsivas, Texas International, trying to make his way around the corner. Looks like UNC Charlotte with Clint Halterman leading that pair, and then we have Jared Kaler, your heat race winner right there. And yeah, he doesn't like this track. This is not going to be very fun for him right there in the gaggle of all these cars. A few notches ahead. It doesn't look like Texas A&M can get the job done, but Jack Ritchie moving down to the inside, and that move is on the University of Virginia, and I think he's going to get that done. He's got to get it done into this corner here, and a bit of a move right there from Virginia, but suddenly into the corner. It's looks like, yeah, Virginia runs wide, and Mississippi College takes that 8th place position, but I'll tell you what has not let up is this right here.
Yeah, still a great battle here. Almost too wide into the corkscrew. They get it sorted out on the top half. Too wide coming down the bottom half. The UNC Charlotte cars now side by side coming down the hill. Texas A&M trying to hold them both off. Right now, it looks like Halterman's going to be able to pull along to the outside. Now looking for the switchback going through the corner. Looks to the inside there, Texas A&M. Can't get it done quite yet. Now looking to outbrake him into the corner. San Mateo's there trying to block off both of those cars. Everyone's stacking up here on this part of the field. Ian Brown has disappeared from view. He is 6 seconds ahead of Jason Wallet. But all of the action here is from 2nd on back to 11th. All of these cars are within a second or two of each other. So still plenty to be decided here as we see cars going 2, almost 3 wide through the hairpin. Looks like Jack Ritchie's going to fall back a couple of positions behind the UNC Charlotte cars, and they're still trying to find their way past Texas A&M.
Yeah, there you go. It's going to be continuing, but man, it's so hard when you don't have that momentum to carry. You have to put your car on the inside. It makes defense very possible for your opponent. So Major Monsivais, obviously, he is a little bit stressed right now, but Laguna Seca does not have those long straightaways that Formula One fans will be familiar with. It's going to have to be done in a pretty aggressive manner by any of these drivers behind, and so that's what we'll see. Look at this move right here. UNC Charlotte on the attack up ahead, and UNC Charlotte defends, and Drexel off right there, and that is going to be an opportunity for everybody. If we weren't chaotic enough, now they've got to get single file to get around that car down into the corkscrew. It looks like everybody is going to play nicely for the time being, trying to slot in position in front of Virginia, but looks like more positions might be lost on this one.
Yeah, that's a tough break for Jason Wallet. He was running 2nd, but going into the dirt at the wrong part of the track has dropped him all the way down to 11th. And that's just the nature of being stuck out in the wrong part of the hairpin. Morfin and Hidesti really kicking up some dust clouds back there coming off the corner. They were 4 wheels in the dirt. Lucky that they both kept it forward there. And you see the draft line of cars here going down the front stretch. UNC Charlotte still trying to work their way forward a little bit. They're up into the top 5 there. Major Monsivais, who's running 3rd for Texas A&M, and then back behind there you see Hunter Hidesti and Sebastian Morfin side by side through the hairpin. Jason Wallet trying to get into the mix as well, not letting Morfin go for the switchback. Now they all have to file in single file as they round their way through the corner. There's just action happening all over the field right now.
There is, and yeah, I don't know what, quite what, excuse me, the Gator machine could have done right there, but yeah, this is an area where we thought we would see that Gator move forward quite quickly, maybe with the rest of drivers that have kind of marched forward and stepped up. But it looks like, right now, Jack Ritchie making a move around right there, and so that's a 2-for-1 position. So Jack Ritchie now up into P4. So again, we continue to try and keep up, and it looks like back into the corkscrew. Here we go again, side by side.
Yeah, Morfin really trying to find just anything that's going to get it done. An aggressive move through the corkscrew. Nicely done there from the driver for University of Florida. He'll complete the pass here, and now his eyes are set on the College of San Mateo, and that is Michael Tognati. Jack Ritchie currently sitting in the 4th position, getting around both one of the UNC Charlotte cars and Texas A&M International after he nearly lost it, had to lock it up big time and go into the dirt to catch it. But Jack Ritchie, a rough turn of events there. He falls back to the tail end of the longest line here as he'll jump back in behind Jason Wallet in 11th. Luckily, kept the car off the wall, so he's going to be able to keep that thing running and try and chase down a few more cars here on the back half of this race. But a tough break there for Mississippi College, who was running inside the top 5 until that happened.
Mississippi College, a story of highs and lows, but we'll see here. This was the high, making this pass, obviously setting it up down into the corner. And then what transpired to allow this to happen? This is the view as it was seen from Mississippi College. He had an opportunity right here. Oh, big checkup from a number of these drivers, continuing contact. And that's how, actually looks like North Carolina at Charlotte's Jared Kaler had a positive right there. But then, yeah, it did not take even a lap to have this right here. And you can see wheel in the car, trying to use all the racetrack and then some. Very technical through here. And yeah, that Choctaw driver getting into the corner. It's under heavy braking. He knows who's behind him. Got to get the job done. Turned in, and oh yeah, that car was rotating more than he wanted even before he got to the apex right there. And you can do that in these Toyotas. They're a little bit more daft than their open wheel cars that you may see at some point. But the battle continues for all these drivers. You can see a little bit of dirt coming into the track here just by nature of where these drivers are going on and off the track.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're starting to see some forward headway from the driver from Florida. He's now up to 7th after being marred back in the back couple spots for a little while here. He's starting to make his way up and through the field. Jack Ritchie trying to get past Jason Wild. Both of these cars were running up front at one point in this race, but then dropped back from catching the dirt. Mississippi College dives it in on the inside, completes the pass. Jason Wild might look to try and fight back through the second half of the corner, but he's not going to be able to get back up to the bumper of Mississippi College. So Jack Ritchie takes that position away, moves back into P9. And it looks like there's a great battle for this is for 4th. Clint Halterman trying to hold off a charging Thomas Toomey. Toomey to the inside there in that all-white car. As they run down to the corner, Halterman will have he was going to have the spot, but has to file back in behind the Cavalier to not lose any greater positions there. So Thomas Toomey up to 4th, and Jared Kaler all over the back bumper of Thomas Crump there in 2nd.
Yeah, we saw that on the top of our screen going down into the corkscrew now. Thomas Crump has all for the defense that he's got to get on that orange wheel machine. They're neck and neck in the corner. Very hard to pass right here just by nature of trying to cross over. Yeah, UNC Charlotte taking the wide line. That's what you have to do. Losing about a car length in the process, though. And so they're going to work through the final sector of this racetrack. One more time, those Toyotas trying to clamor for every bit of grip that they can out here on this hot California surface.
Yeah, and absolutely, as they make their way into the corner here, whoever gets the better run down the front stretch might have a chance. You saw a glimpsing shot of a car going up the hill as they rounded that corner. That was the back of Ian Brown in the lead, who's now up to 10 seconds ahead of this battle for 2nd. So barring a catastrophe, Ian Brown very much in control of this race. Looking to go around the outside here is Jared Kaler, very tight through the first half of the hairpin. Crump able to hold off for just a moment. Kaler now looking to the other side, seeing if there's any real estate there. Almost a bit of a bumper to him. They were within inches of each other. I mean, UNC Charlotte is just absolutely inhaling the exhaust of the Clemson car ahead of it there. Absolutely no room, no separation, and no margin for error.
A handful of steering wheel. You can watch those front tires shifting around. Getting to the inside here. Wow, I didn't have that on my bingo card, but he made it stick. I think a bit of help as well. Clemson was awfully nice in that situation, giving the lane down there. And looks like it's going to be side-by-side. That's not where you want to be side-by-side, but who keeps the momentum? It looks like it continues to be a drag race. And look at this.
Toomey with a run.
Toomey with the run.
Dirt.
And in the dirt, he was trying to do the Road America Miata situation. 2 tires on the asphalt right there. We saw that a little bit in the last race at Okayama from Toomey as well. Getting pretty good at that. But UNC Charlotte takes this one, but suddenly it's a three-way battle. Yeah, that didn't do any favors for those guys trying to keep up time. And Thomas Crump fighting for his life here, coming up to the final corner. He knows he's got to defend, but Thomas Toomey could be very strong here on the brakes on the outside. Looks like he broke early. Maybe looking for a crossover move right here. Let's see who's got the run.
Yeah, he's got a better run going on the front stretch here. He's slowly pulling alongside. They basically tapped rear view mirrors there going up the hill. Halterman looked to the inside for a moment. Toomey had to close it off. Now Halterman looking to the other side. Crump diving to the inside. Everyone changing lanes, trying to find their way to do it. Contact between the 07 and the 166. Crump back to the inside here. Everyone fighting so fiercely. Elbows out. Absolutely throwing haymakers at each other right now. Only 2 laps to go. Halterman bounces off one of the curbs. He's side by side with Crump. Toomey just trying to get away from the 2 of them here as all 3 of them were exchanging position through the first part of this lap.
That's exactly what they were doing, and it's going to be on a little bit further back. You see, side by side, it looks like Thomas Crump actually continuing his work. He's trying to continue that defense around the outside. Can he take the line away? He's done so, but he's not in a very good spot for what's coming up next. It's that fast left-hander. He's going to try and take it away from Niner Esports, and yeah, off in the dirt, not so much. So yeah, and the heavy block down to the inside. That's going to be on tap here for the remainder of this race. 1.5 laps to go here, Alex, down through the corkscrew, and it's like one more time to do that.
Absolutely, and Jack Ritchie has worked himself into the picture here with all this fighting between Halterman and Thomas Crump. It's also allowed Kaler and Toomey to absolutely disappear from him, but there has just been an absolutely stellar on-track battle here between these 2 cars. Now Jack Ritchie's going to get involved as well, looking to the outside of Crump through the final corner. Who's going to get the better run down the straightaway? Crump takes away the position for now. Ritchie will slot right back in to get some of that draft as they go back up the hill. White flag in the air, one more lap from Laguna Seca.
That's what Jack Ritchie sees. He's going to try and put the move to the inside. Contact there. He made a hole right there for Mississippi College. Can he get the job done on the inside? And it looks like he did, maybe a little bit forcefully. And that position is completed. Suddenly, Clemson University's Thomas Crump finds himself in 6th position, but it's not over. Remember those Florida Gators? They're back trying to get that 7th position. They've got about 2/3 of a lap to do it. And Sebastian Morfin, he's going to try and go to work on that Texas A&M International car. Sebastian Morfin is driving the Florida car, and his opponent is Major Monsivice a little bit further up the road right there. And your shot, a little bit wide right there from Monsivice. Who's going to be in front at the top of the hill? It looks like Florida is side by side. That's where you want to be. Don't expect any patience from these drivers. Yeah, no surprise there. It had to. There was not a lot of room there for Texas A&M International, but up front, looks like Sebastian Morfin has a new battle.
Yeah, and actually that battle almost done as soon as it started. It's a great run by Hunter Hidesti. Takes away the 7th position as this battle goes on. But it looks like Ian Brown will be pretty close to the stripe here. The driver from Mesa Community College makes short work of the field here in the second heat, able to use that grid advantage to his success. He picks up the victory. Coming to the line here, looks like Jared Kaler will be 2nd, Thomas Toomey 3rd. And then with some battling back through the field, you see Morfin all over the back of Hunter Hidesti. Will he be able to make a move in time? Looks to the outside, not able to get there in time. Hunter Hidesti will hold on to 7th. What a stellar second race. I mean, what a great pair of races, but especially that second race. There was some really, really good on-track battles.
There was a ton of good on-track battles, and man, I think the scoring tower inverted itself on lap 8, 9, and then 10 there as we crossed the checkered flag. And boy, everybody was getting positions. And I'll tell you what, poor Thomas Crump, man, he was just trying to hang on there at the end. He had everybody attacking him. That was not an easy job.
No, it was not, but he honestly did a really good job. I feel like I know he wasn't able to hold on to the positions, but boy, did he fight for him, and did he fight clean for him.
He did, and it was so much fun to see these drivers with their racecraft right there. But speaking of, going into the corkscrew for the final time, it was Hunter Hidesti who made some very good progress forward. And you can see right here, He was going up, so he saw this battle out the front of his Toyota GR86. You know, when those two cars are side by side, you're going to have an opportunity. Very helpful that Texas A&M went sideways, and Florida just wasn't able to carry the advantage right there. And so this was the result. The momentum carried through for Clemson, and that orange rimmer was able to come out on top. That's how Hunter Hedesti and Clemson University took the 7th position, among others, in this race. But man, yeah, you're correct, Alex. What a ride for all of these drivers.
Yeah, speaking of rides, we're going to have an opportunity to talk to someone who had quite the drive today. Going from the back to the front of the field multiple times. It was the driver out of UVA, Thomas Toomey. Thomas, congrats on the podium, but also, what was it like out there having to just spend most of the day in both races trying to pass the field?
Yeah, that was fun. I didn't really get much practice time, so kind of sucked qualifying out and just wanted to see how things went. Got up to 4th place, and then the second race, a lot more traffic, took a lot of patience for the reverse grid. And then once that got sorted out, kind of the same issue, tough to pass, but thankfully improved by 1 spot. But yeah, that was a ton of fun. Good power level for that car, for that track.
Yeah, it seemed like it. It seemed to be pretty close all night long, Thomas. And on your 3rd place finish, the final heat there, it seemed like everybody agreed to start fighting much harder with about 3 laps to go. Was that your experience as well, or was that just the product of everybody getting close at that point in time?
I mean, I think maybe a little bit, but people were blocking from lap 1. Like, I know personally, I sacrificed a few positions just to be on the safe side for race 2. So it cost me, I think, a little bit in the end in finishing position, but that's you got to finish the race first, they say. So, yeah.
Well, I think that tracks, but 3rd place, it was not easy for anybody out there tonight. You earned it. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out or a thank you to before we let you go on your evening?
Yeah, shout out to the CIL and for everyone coming out and racing tonight.
Thank you for coming out and racing tonight. Congrats, Thomas, and enjoy your evening.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Alex, that was Thomas Toomey, the Virginia Cavalier, and he had his hands full. I mean, I think we could say that a lot, right? Everybody had their hands full, but Thomas really turned up the wick there in the final corner. I did not think P3 was in reach for Virginia tonight there in the second heat, but he made it happen.
Yeah, a really good drive in both heats, going from 11th to 4th in the first one, and then was it 7th or 8th to the third in the second one. So in both occasions, a lot of forward progress had to be made to get those results, and he was able to do it. Speaking of positive results, our second place finisher tonight is Jared Kaler. He picked up the win in the first race, settles for P2 here in the second race. Jared, congrats on the podium. Is there anything you feel like that could have went differently to battle for the win, or was that just the nature of the invert?
I think that was just the nature of the invert. I think Ian stunk up the show pretty good, so we all had to sit back in 2nd place and put on a good show for the viewers. But yeah, I think it was just the nature of the invert. It was a little bit too far back, starting 10th, but drove up to 2nd, and it was a pretty good battle, I thought.
It was a pretty good battle, Jared, throughout the night, throughout the field, but none other than your attempt there to get 2nd place. Thomas Crump and Clemson University put up a pretty firm battle there at the end. Did you expect that?
No, not really. I mean, I felt like I was a little bit quicker than him, but I've learned over the past 2 weeks that it's pretty difficult to pass in this car a little bit. You have to kind of wait for an opportunity to arise. So I was just kind of waiting for an opportunity to rise, and I got next to him, and then we went through that kink, and then I looked in my mirror, and Clint was shouting me. He's like, "Thomas, gotta run! Thomas, gotta run!" And I looked in my mirror, and Toomey's just full on has a blast of a run coming through us. And I was like, "Oh no, we're gonna go through wide in the corkscrew." So I apologized to him because I threw a little bit of probably a dirty block there. But I was just like, we're all gonna wad it up if we go through wide into that corkscrew.
Yeah, I was when we were watching that live. The angle we had was watching you guys come up the hill. So we saw you and Crump, and then all of a sudden there was just another car that appeared like out of thin air, and we're like,
That's what it
But
felt like. I mean, I looked at my mirror and all of a sudden there was a guy coming, and I was like, oh man, this is not going to end well.
yeah, it was a little dicey. I feel like certainly could have been worse. But congrats again on the podium. Anyone you'd like to shout out here before we let you go on your way?
I'd like to thank you guys for putting on the stream and Niner Esports and UNCC Storm, and congrats to Ian on that second race win. And yeah, it was fun being with Clint and talking to him and chatting, and we were making jokes the whole time, and yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Alrighty, well, congrats again, Jared, on finishing second tonight in the second race, and for picking up the Heat 1 win. Appreciate you coming out, and we'll see you up here soon, I'm sure.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, Alex, that was man, pretty fun to watch Jared run up through the field. I think you just saw on your screen for our viewers that move up the inside. Yeah, that was the 166 car from Virginia. We'll say that he just spawned in that location, and yeah, the UNC Charlotte driver doing what he needed to sounds like keep everybody out of peril, if you ask him. So all in a decision's work right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that battle was one of the better ones we saw all night, but there was plenty of them. But now we have an opportunity to talk to our race winner from tonight's event. Did so in pretty convincing fashion, I must say. Ian, congrats on the win here tonight from Laguna Seca. Gotta ask, once you got out front, was there any looking back, or was it just kind of cruising around waiting to see if anyone was going to get into the same zip code as you?
I was trying to get fastest lap. That's basically it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I wasn't actually able to check the official timing table yet. Were you able to get it? Do you know?
Yeah, I got a 39.3. Kaylor had a 39.5, but I probably had a 38 in it.
Nice. Well, hey, flawless second race, then dominant race win, and then fastest lap. Not much more you could ask for there.
Probably not going off in the first race.
Yeah, Ian, you have approached my question. First of all, congrats on a really I think the key word was flawless there run. And in that first race, yeah, was that just part of the racing action? Was that a misstep? How did that come to be? And obviously, it worked out in a recovery fashion with the invert.
Yeah, I mean, like that first lap, Kaylor kept getting bad exits, and I definitely had the pace on him. And I was just too impatient trying to get a move. Well, yeah, I basically pulled out from behind him like at the last minute to try and force him to stay on the inside. But by the time I pulled out, I didn't realize I had already gone past the first brake board, so I just braked way too late.
Gotcha. Well, congrats again here on pulling it out in race 2 and leaving nothing to the imagination. I think that gap at the end was 12 or 15 seconds, very fast up front, and making that Mesa Toyota look good while you did it. Before we turn you loose this evening, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to or thank?
I'm gonna thank Jack Ritchie because, Jake Cummings is normally here. He wasn't here this week. That's like my partner in crime. And I asked Jack like last minute if he wanted to come in, and he's like, yeah, sure. And I'll also thank Jared for forcing mistakes out of me that I can learn from.
Very well. Well, I'll tell you, up in here in the booth, we were taking notes on that fast lap. So congrats again. Congrats to you, Ian, and Mesa Community College on that very good run in the feature tonight. Enjoy your evening.
Thanks. Yep.
And Alex, yeah, I don't know if I have any more to add to that, but those are 3 drivers that we've had the chance to talk to that were maybe just happy to towel off after this one.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it was a really physical couple of races, at least for most of those drivers. Obviously, Ian ran a pretty easy second one, but a very physical first one, and then both Kaler and Toomey had the battle pretty hard in both of them. So, all three of them get a well-deserved break and a well-deserved result here tonight, in what was a pretty fierce couple of races here from Laguna Seca.
They were very fierce couple of races, and not surprising. We had a little bit of excitement last time we came here in the F4 cars as well for Formula C. And so, without any more, we can recap now in full the grid after all that excitement there in the final 2 laps. Your winner there, that second race, no surprise, Mesa Community College in commanding fashion. That gap, 12.5 seconds there from Ian Brown. Jared Kaler finished second, North Carolina at Charlotte, and the Virginia and Thomas Toomey brought that car home on the final step of the podium. North Carolina at Charlotte finished in 4th position tonight, followed by Mississippi College and Jack Ritchie, you heard with the shout out there, in P5. Clemson University find themselves in 6th and 7th tonight via Thomas Crump and Hunter Hedesti. And what a solid second race from Thomas Crump, doing battle with just about everybody in that top 4 and playing defense as well against the rest of the field. The University of Florida and first race for Sebastian Morfin in P8. Very good run in the first heat tonight, and hoping that we can see more of that team, that car, and that driver. We go into the halfway point of this season. Drexel University and Jason Wallet in 9th position to finish this one out tonight, and trying to get rid of the off tracks. Major Monsivas finishing 10th for Texas A&M International University. The 11th position will round out the field, and it will be Michael Tognati and the College of San Mateo, Alex, who complete the grid tonight. But no shortage of action, which has tended to be the theme with these GR86 race cars.
Yeah, absolutely. There was plenty of action all throughout the field in both races. Not much more you could ask for if you ask me. One thing I will do, though, real quick, I want to issue a quick apology to Michael Tognati. For whatever reason, the entire first race, I thought he was a Clemson University driver. I want to apologize to him and the College of San Mateo for realizing that in the second race. But otherwise, I think I had quite a blast up here in the booth with you, Josh, and we got treated to 2 really solid races.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree, but very hard to argue that point. And we can look ahead to next week. Of course, we are on track on the oval side next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern. The green flag will drop, and then these cars and these drivers make the return next Wednesday night. It will be 9 p.m. Eastern as well. At what other track than Lime Rock Speedway, Lime Rock Park, actually. And so, Alex, I don't know if there is a harder track to pass at than Lime Rock. There is simply just not a lot of time to breathe. You got to get most of it done there
Not a
on
lot
the
of time
front
to
stretch.
breathe, and there's no real room. It's a very narrow track. So if we thought there was some aggressive passes here today, I can't even imagine what we're going to see next week.
I cannot imagine either. But we don't have to imagine. In 1 week's time, it will be next Wednesday there at 9 p.m. Eastern, as stated. So from all of us up here in the booth, Alex and Josh, thank you for hanging out with us and watching these drivers zoom their colors around the track. We'll see you next Monday at 9 p.m.